Welcome to Meet the Candidate. My guest for this session is Mike Pellicciotti, candidate for state treasurer. Welcome, Mike.
Well, thank you, Suwani. It's great to be here.
Well, we'll start with a simple question. Just tell us a little bit about where you grew up and first went to school.
Sure. Well, actually, before I was born, my folks actually lived in Spokane. My dad was at school at Gonzaga, and my mom at the time was working at the old Fort Wright College. For those who might remember that, and right before I was born, they moved to Indiana, and so I was born and raised in Indiana. Went to public schools there. Ended up going to college in upstate New York. Got my bachelor's degree in business administration, minored in economics, and during my time in college, my plan was to go into finance, to go into business. So what my studies were in. Every summer I spent working in issues of economic development, issues of finance and banking, and I really realized actually through some of those experiences that I thought that the way the systems were working, we're not giving a kind of fair shake to the average working family and retired person out there, and I felt that there were sometimes profits were being put ahead of people's interests, and so I kind of took a little bit of a departure in the sense that I was selected as a Fulbright scholar to study economic development in Canada, which was our largest trading partner. Ended up getting my master's degree there in rural development, which was something that remains very important to me, and certainly was at the time. And after that, came to Gonzaga for law school, and that's what brought me to Washington State.
Okay. Well, having lived in some other places for comparison, what are some lessons that you've learned or some things that have helped see your view of Washington?
Well, a lot of what was really instructive to me growing up. I actually spent summers with my grandparents in upstate New York. They were first generation Americans. They had spent their entire lives as janitors, as cleaning ladies, good, honest work. But they really instilled in me at a very young age the importance of kind of fighting for working families, giving a fair shake to people. And it was actually thinking a lot about those experiences that I had with them that really started to kind of reform my view of making sure that systems were being set up in a way that gave a fair shake to people, and really allowed for people to given their God-given talents to succeed, and not kind of have the deck stacked against them. And so a lot of the work that I've done since then has been issues of taking on corporate financial fraud. I worked first with the King County Prosecutor's Office doing violent and economic crimes, including sex trafficking prosecution, which actually brings together both the economic crimes as well as obviously the violent aspect of those offenses. And then several years ago, I joined the Attorney General's office. I managed a unit of financial examiners, auditors, and analysts that returned over $30 million back to taxpayers from financial fraud. And it's really been a focus of mine since joining the legislature in 2016. It's really been trying to do what we can to make government work a little bit better and meet the expectations of people a lot more. And then also making sure that the larger systems in place are treating people fairly.
Well, I'm going to ask you to go back a little bit in your timeline and
Yeah.
tell me, what was your first job, the first time you connected a paycheck to your effort?
Well, I don't know if it was so much a paycheck then. It was maybe a little under the table. When I was 8 years old, when I was staying with my grandparents, I loved to collect baseball cards at the time. And, they made it clear that if I wanted baseball cards, I had to earn the money myself to buy them. And so I went around their local neighborhood, and newspapers were a quarter then in the newspaper machines. The kind of old mechanical newspaper machines, and people would give me 50 cents. And I would use the quarter to buy the newspaper. I would return them the newspaper, and I got to keep the quarter for every newspaper I delivered, which was about as good of a deal as an 8-year-old could possibly imagine. It was actually something that I appreciated because, then I could buy my baseball cards and enjoy the summer through that. The first real job that I had was when I was in high school. I served as a busboy at a local restaurant as a way to earn money for college. And, that was it's tough. It was tough work. But it was not nearly as tough as a lot of folks, who, have to kind of do work, every day in so many ways, just, good, honest work. And it really, allowed for me to save money for college, which was real opportunity, but then also made me, appreciate that much more the importance of why government needs to be about serving working families and retired people.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let us go to that last question because you've set it up nicely. Your opportunity to tell people why should they vote for Mike Pellicciotti for state treasurer.
Well, again, Lani, thank you so much for doing this and for all the candidates. And what I would say is this: I really do believe I have the broad experience necessary to deal with the complicated legal financial issues that we're dealing with at a state level today. Issues of international economics, international finance, the legal financial issues around bond counsel work, and the range of issues that are growing increasingly complicated related to making sure that the way we protect the people's money in the state of Washington is we're doing everything we can to make sure it's not being taken advantage of, and that it's not being simply serving corporate special interests instead of serving the interests of the people of the state of Washington. One of the things I'm really proud of is I'm one of the only state elected officials who has never taken any corporate campaign donations. And there is no position where it is more critical not to have those corporate campaign donation entanglements than the position of state treasurer that is responsible for investing over $100 billion of your money. And I'm looking forward to finally bringing an end to the longtime practice of state treasurers investing in the same corporations that fund their campaigns. And I'm just really excited to make sure this office is best serving working families and retired people at all times.
Okay. Well, you've made your pitch, and thank you for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your campaign.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you again, Ms. Lani, for doing this. It's good to see you.
90 million Christians are eligible to vote.
40 million didn't.
That's 45% of eligible Christians not voting.
We can change that.
We believe We Vote was designed to arm people of faith with information on candidates
and how they line up with biblical and constitutional principles.
It's simply WeBelieveWeVote.com.
We're on a mission to rev up the 2020 election.
Tell your friends, your neighbors, and especially your pastors to rev up.
Be an educated voter.
Arm yourself with truth based on the Word of God.
2020, rev up.
Register, educate, vote.
Rev up.
Rev up.
Rev up 2020.